Now in the previous class we have discussed the dipole moment. The dipole moment is a vector quantity. Dipole moment in theory is equal to charge into bond length. Okay, charge value is 1.6 10 power minus 19. Bond length is usually given in picometer or in angstrom. So you convert into meter and then we have find out the value in one. So in theory 1 dB equal to 3.336 into 10 power minus 30 coulomb meter. Okay, so if we take a bond length is 100 picometer or 1 angstrom, then the in theory when you multiply it by charge the value comes out to be 4.8 dB. So you can calculate the theoretical dipole moment of any molecule or any bond by taking a standard value of 100 picometer for 4.8 dB. Why it is so? Because dipole moment is a vector quantity. So how would you calculate that? Multiply charge into bond length, whatsoever the answer comes out to be, divided by this term 3.33 10 minus 30, you will get the answer converted into dB. Okay, sure about that? Now in case of HCl it is found to be 1.03 dB. In case of HBr it is found to be 0.79 dB. In case of hydrogen iodide it comes out to be 0.38 dB, and in case of HF it is nearly about 2 dB. So these are the various dipole moment values of hydrides of halogens. Now in case of water, you know that in case of water there are two lone pair also present in the sp3 hybrid lobes, and two hydrogen bonds, oxygen hydrogen bonds are present. So net dipole moment comes out to be 1.8 dB. Okay, the bond moment is towards what? Towards the lone pair. Okay, and also the bond moment is towards what? Towards hydrogen to oxygen. Are you getting that or not? So remember that always, that if the lone pair is present, the bond moment, although bond is not present there, the dipole moment is towards the lone pair. It will be towards the lone pair. Now consider the case of ammonia. In case of ammonia, one of the hybrid lobe contains a lone pair, while at the other three hybrid lobe hydrogen overlapping with the sp3 nitrogen takes place. So nitrogen being more electronegative, so bond movement is from hydrogen to nitrogen. Why? Being more electronegative, the bond pair is always closer to nitrogen atom. Okay, since one of the lone pair is also present, so the bond movement is towards the lone pair. So here what is happening, the bond pair and the lone pair movement, they are additive in nature. They are what? Additive in nature. So ammonia has a very good value of dipole moment. The value is nearly 1.46 dB. So remember that. Sure about that or not? So, but very interesting example is there. The example is that of mu of ammonia is greater than mu of NF3. Why it is so? Now both in case of ammonia and in case of NF3, what happens that nitrogen is sp3 hybridized. Nitrogen is sp3 hybridized, and one of the lobe contains a lone pair. So nitrogen hydrogen bonds are also present. Are you getting that or not? So what happens in this case, fluorine being more electronegative in nature, then what happens, the bond movement is from nitrogen to fluorine. Why it is so? Being more electronegative, the bond pair is closer to fluorine atom. Here also bond pair is closer to fluorine atom. Here also bond pair closer to fluorine atom. Now in this case the lone pair is present in one of the hybrid lobe. So here what are you observing, that the lone pair movement and the bond pair movement are in the different directions. So bond pair and lone pair movement, they are cancelling out each other. But in case of ammonia, what you are observing, that bond movement is from hydrogen to nitrogen. Why? Because nitrogen being more electronegative, so the electron pair of the bond is closer to nitrogen, and it will add to the bond movement that is moving towards what? Lone pair. So here all the bond movement and lone pair, they are additive in nature, and due to that the dipole moment of ammonia will be larger than dipole moment of NF3. So here what will we find, that dipole moment of NF3 is what? Dipole moment of NF3 is only 0.28 dB, but dipole moment of ammonia is what? Is 1.46 dB. Are you able to understand that? Sure. So that is pretty much easy. So these things must be in your mind always. Similar happens in case of what? Similar happens in case of wherever you will find fluorine. Okay. Let us suppose you have OCl2 and you have OF2. Now what will you observe? Now look at the case of OCl3 and OF2 also here. It is the same case of that what? Ammonia and NF3. Here the bond movement is towards fluorine. Here also bond movement is towards fluorine and towards lone pair. So they are what? They will cancel out each other. So mu of OF2. But in this case what is happened? Bond movement and what? They are additive in nature. But they are additive in nature. So what is bond moment of OCl2? So bond moment of OCl2 is greater than, dipole moment of OCl2 is greater than what? The dipole moment of OCl2 is greater than dipole moment of OF2. Why it is so? Look at the various bond moment here. You will get the answer in your mind. In case of OF2, the bond moment is towards fluorine. Why? Because fluorine is more electronegative. But in case of OCl2, it is towards oxygen. Why? Because oxygen is more electronegative. Oxygen is less electronegative than fluorine, but more electronegative than all other elements. Now consider the case of SO3 and SO2. Okay, in case of SO3, you can see here 3 polar bonds are present, but due to symmetry, due to what? Symmetrical structure, what happens? Due to symmetrical structure, these bond movement will cancel out each other, and you have SO3 as what? SO3 as the net dipole moment 0. So net dipole moment of SO3 is 0. But in case of SO2, it has bent structure. It is what? Bent structure due to presence of what? Due to presence of one lone pair. So bond movement is like that only. Okay, sure about that. So everyone knows that lone pair movement is greater than that of SO2 bond movement. So mu of SO2 has some value. So you can see that is equal to non-zero value. So dipole moment of SO2 is greater than dipole moment of SO3. Are you sure about that? Similarly, take the case of cis trans isomers. If the electronic nature of the groups attached group attached to the alkene is same, then dipole moment of cis isomer is greater than dipole moment of trans isomer. Now what do you mean by that? Remember that out of sigma and pi bond, sigma bond determine what? Sigma bond determined bond moment. Why? Because pi electrons are delocalized. Delocalized electrons cannot determine the dipole moment. Why? Because dipole moment is a vector quantity, so only a directed line segment is able to consider the. Now here we have taken into account that we have here the compound name is what? The compound name is 1,2-dichloroethene. Now in case of 1,2-dichloroethene, the bond moment in case of trans isomer in opposite direction. Look at that here. In this case particularly, the bond moment is from carbon to chlorine, here also carbon to chlorine, but in opposite direction. So what is happening here? The bond moment A will cancel out the bond moment B, so the dipole moment will be 0. But in case of cis isomer, what you are observing that the bond angle between sp2 carbon is what? 120. So both carbon chlorine bond and carbon chlorine bond are what? Working at an angle of 120 degree. So the net force will be what? The net force will be under root of mu1 square plus mu2 square plus 2 mu1 mu2 cos theta. So here you will see that cis isomer will have some value, but trans isomer will have 0 value. So cis isomer has greater dipole moment than the trans isomer. Okay, here also I can give you one example of butene. Now this is the example of cis butene, this is the example of trans 2-butene. Now in case of cis 2-butene, you can easily see that what is happening? The two groups are similar in nature, and when these groups are showing an addition of the bond moment, the compound will able to show some dipole moment. So cis isomer will show some dipole moment, but in case of trans isomer, the bond moment of one angle will cancel out the bond moment coming together from the other angle. So that's why in case of the group alkenes, the cis isomers have greater dipole moment than the trans isomers. Now if the nature of the attached group is opposite to each other, what do you mean by that? It means that if one of the group tends to withdraw the electron from the carbon, the other atom tends to give electron towards the carbon. What type of carbon? Answer is sigma carbons. So methyl group is electron releasing in nature. It releases its bond pair towards the carbon. While chlorine bond is electron withdrawing in nature, it tends to attract the electron pair or electrons of the bond pair towards itself. So here in case of trans isomer, what is happening? The two bond moments are adding towards each other, while in case of cis isomer, the two bond moments are at an angle of 120, but in here the angle is 0 in first case, that is trans isomer. So that's why trans isomer has what? Trans isomer has greater dipole moment than the cis isomers only if the nature of the attacking creature is the attacking group is different. The nature of the attacking group is different from each other. Here the groups are, one is electron releasing, other is electron withdrawing in nature. Now here you will take the examples of substituted benzenes. Now in that case, because pi cloud does not have any role to play because they are delocalized cloud, you have to take into consideration the bond angle of the now here in this case the bond angle is 60 degree. In the second case you can easily see that the bond angle is 120, and in the last case you can easily see that the bond angle is what? The bond angle is 180. So since nature of the group is same, nature of the groups is same, here nature of the groups is same, groups have same nature. If the group's nature is same, then according to the mu effective formula, mu1 square plus mu2 square plus 2 mu1 mu2 cos theta, with the increase in theta, what will happen? The bond dipole moment value will decrease. So that's why in case of molecule A, since the bond angle is least, so dipole moment will be largest. And in case of compound number C, that is 1,4-dichlorobenzene, the value is 0. Okay, so because when the two bonds are at an angle to each other, you have to take into account the net dipole moment formula, and in that case the net dipole formula means that when the theta becomes 0, the value is maximum, and when the theta is 180, the value is minimum. Okay, so it all depends on theta. Theta 0 means okay, same direction, and theta 180 means opposite direction. Sure about that or not? So here in this case 1,2-dichlorobenzene compound number A, mu of A is greater than dipole moment of B greater than dipole moment of C. So here what happens, you have to just see the angle, Are you getting that or not? But if the attached groups have different type of what they have different type of nature, like here methyl is electron releasing in nature and chlorine is electron withdrawing in nature, then the answer will be reversed. Here you can see here that these are the dipole moment. This is electron releasing, this is electron withdrawing. So here the bond moment is additive. Bond moment is what? Additive. Are you getting that or not? Are you sure that? Clearly understood now? So in that case what can happen? Because these bond movements are in the same direction, so in that case compound number C will have what? Compound number C will have the what? The compound number C will have the largest bond moment. So here answer will be mu C, mu B and mu A. Are you getting that in your mind now? Are you sure? Very much sure. Now the contribution of individual bond in the dipole moment of a polyatomic atom is called bond movement. Okay, for example, in case of water, the observed bond moment is 1.8 dB. So you will write mu observed is equal to 2 into mu OH cos 10.5 degree by 2. So what can we answer? 2 mu OH into cos 52.25. Mu observed is 1.85. So 2 into OH into 0.6129, 1.85. So what is mu OH? The mu OH will be 1.51 dB. Are you getting that in your mind now? Sure. Remember that also dipole moment proportional to the electronegativity difference. So more the difference, more will be the electronegativity, like HF more. So you can see here the difference between electronegativity becomes less and less between halogen and hydrogen, because fluorine most electronegative, iodine least electronegative. Similarly, what can you have? Dipole moment proportional to number of lone pair on the central atom. Number of lone pair on the atom. Like if you take water, okay, if you take HF and if you take ammonia, it has one lone pair of nitrogen, it has two lone pair on oxygen, and it has three lone pair on fluorine. So what can happen? So mu of HF greater than mu of water greater than mu of ammonia. What is mu here? Mu here means dipole moment. Okay, and I already told you that also mu proportional to 1 by theta. What is mu? Dipole moment. So if attached groups are same, if attached groups are similar in nature, but they are similar in nature, then ortho greater than meta greater than para. But if the attached groups are different in nature, then mu proportional to theta. Okay, Sure about that or not? Because in ortho it is theta is 60, meta it is 120, and para it is 180. Are you getting that or not? One more interesting example is that if you have dipole moment like that, then you have 1,4 diisonobenzene, dipole moment is 0. But if you have the two OH group there, the dipole moment is not 0. Why? Because in this case the groups are linear, but in case of hydroxyquinol, what happens? The groups are what? The groups are not collinear.